Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Ackerman, editor-in-chief of Signal Magazine, welcoming you to this Signal executive video. Joining me in today's discussion is Jason Walker Jr., President and CEO of cFocus Software Incorporated. At the helm of cFocus for 10 years, Jason holds many cybersecurity and technology certifications. His company provides services for risk management framework compliance, along with custom solutions designed for Microsoft Azure for government. Jason, welcome to Signal.
Thank you for having me, Bob.
As I understand it, your company's focus on risk management framework includes your company's product, Authority to Operate, or ATO, as a service. Now, how does ATO as a service differ from other approaches?
So in order for me to explain that, let me kind of briefly talk about the risk management framework. So the risk management framework defines and it allows you to mitigate the risk associated with an IT system. So there's 6 steps that are involved in the risk management framework. The first step is to categorize. And so you categorize your IT system by defining the confidentiality, integrity, and authority requirements of your system. Steps 2 through 4 are where you select, implement, and then assess your IT system based on the security requirements. Step 5 is when you authorize your system. That's when someone, basically the system owner, will accept the level of risk associated with that system. And step 6 is monitoring. So ATO as a service, we focus on steps 1 through 5 of the risk management framework. So what we do is we automate and we expedite the process for you to get through steps 1 through 5 to obtain your authority to operate.
Why is this approach better or just different from others?
So the secret sauce with ATO as a service, we have actually a software as a service that is a large part of the ATO as a service offering. So we implement the power of the cloud in order for you to get through the RMF process. So first of all, sign up is very easy. You obtain a subscription, and once you're in, you're able to very kind of easily set up the roles and responsibilities for all of the stakeholders that are involved. You can then set up the overlays, whatever security controls need to be tailored, you can set that up. And then you can go through the RMF process, steps 1 through 5, in a much more automated and much more streamlined fashion than you would manually. And even if you wanted to store your data on premises, if you don't want to have your data in the cloud, you can actually keep your data on premises and still use our software as a service in order to go through the process.
So it would work well with hybrid systems.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's designed that way. This is proprietary data. The security controls, the security vulnerabilities that are defined in your IT system, that's very sensitive information. So naturally, you wouldn't want to store that information in the cloud. So we give you the option of storing it on premises and still using our software as a service in order to get your ATO.
With ATO, without going into proprietary information, what do you think, what is the key to making ATO work successfully for customers?
So it's a joint effort between the actual system owner, the folks who are charged with actually going through the process, and then our consultants that are involved in the process. And so using the software is really the key in how we automate the process, especially when you talk about cloud-based systems. Our secret sauce really is kind of like when, well, what I should say is our best use case is when you have a cloud system that needs to go through the process and obtain an authority to operate. We have some proprietary workflow and we have some proprietary templates that really kind of expedite that process when you're a cloud-based system.
Government, of course, is trying to move to the cloud. Government is supposed to move to the cloud. It has been so ordered. Different parts of government have different concerns about moving to the cloud. How does ATO as a service help them address some of those concerns?
So moving to the cloud is usually a much more involved process than most folks give it credit for. It's There's a set of steps that you normally need to take in order for you to successfully move to the cloud. You need to perform an assessment of your current environment, decide what systems are ready to be moved to the cloud, come up with a plan for actually doing that migration from your on-premises environment to the cloud environment, and then you need to have kind of like a remediation plan for those systems that are not yet ready to go to the cloud, but that eventually you want to take to the cloud. And so that is kind of what the whole point of ATO as a service is that when you are ready to get to the cloud, part of that assessment process is the security controls that are embedded within ATO as a service. So in order for you to get there, you need to make sure that it is secure. You need to make sure that it implements the security requirements that NIST requires, that is part of the risk management framework. And so that's where ATO as a service kind of automates that process for you.
So people are getting both efficiency and effectiveness.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What about scalability? You have customers with widely diverse needs. How applicable is ATO as a service depending on scalability?
Well, it's a cloud-based system. I mean, it's a software as a service that is born in the cloud. It resides in the cloud. And so regardless of how many systems you need to work with, we're able to scale according to your needs. And you only use and you only pay for the actual space that you use rather than having to buy an entire system that, perhaps you may not even use all of the services available.
Your company does other services, including, work with Microsoft Azure. How does ATO as a service touch upon that?
So we are optimized for providing an ATO for IT systems that are hosted on Azure. So Microsoft Azure is pretty much, that's our preferred cloud vendor right now. We've been a Microsoft partner for over 10 years. We have multiple cloud certifications. We have multiple competencies within Microsoft. And so ATO as a service has been optimized to go through the ATO process for IT systems based in Microsoft Azure.
Have you had to do any adjustment of ATO as a service in order to have it suited for Microsoft Azure?
We kind of built it from the ground up to allow us to expedite that process. There are other cloud-based systems that we're able to use ATO as a service for, but the focus at the beginning is optimizing for the Microsoft Cloud.
Tell us a bit about your work with Microsoft Azure.
We've been kind of like one of the pioneers with Microsoft Azure. Not only with Microsoft Azure, but really the Microsoft Cloud in general. When you're talking about Office 365, whether you're talking about SharePoint Online. Like I said, we've been a Microsoft partner for 10 years. So we've kind of seen the evolution from Microsoft being primarily an on-premises company where you buy the software, you install it on your local servers, you do the maintenance, you do the upkeep on a daily basis, to now where they're really focused on moving things to the cloud and offering these services on a wide scale. So yeah, we've had a lot of experience with Azure, with Office 365, both on-premises and in the cloud.
I'm curious, when you were developing ATO as a service, did you have one eye on your work with Microsoft Azure?
Yeah, that's always been, we've always been really dedicated to bringing solutions, bringing additional solutions through Microsoft products and services. And so, yeah, that's always kind of been, we've actually started collaborating with Microsoft on how to optimize our service, moving forward.
Without giving away any proprietary secrets, what's the future of ATO as a service?
So the future is bright. We have several initiatives that we are engaged in right now. The risk management framework is actually coming out with a new revision sometime. The first draft, I believe, is coming out middle of the year, and then the final revision probably later on in the year. And so obviously we would want to incorporate that into our service. And then moving forward, we're laser focused right now on helping IT companies and helping federal government agencies that want to implement software as a service tools in their environment and getting them to authority to operate there. But moving forward, what we can do is we can start to engage with state and local governments and help them with getting them to authority to operate with their IT systems, and possibly even commercial companies as well that may not necessarily need an authority to operate, but still want to be able to mitigate the risk in their IT systems.
Now, your company, as you've said, long has been involved with Microsoft Azure. What lies ahead with the work your company does involving Azure?
So Microsoft Azure for Government in particular is really reaching a level of maturity now where I think a lot of agencies will be looking to that platform to migrate their systems. And so, we're poised and we're ready to roll when it comes to helping those agencies identify what systems can you move over and what can we help you actually accomplish the migration from your on-premises environment into the Microsoft Azure for Government platform.
As we know, we have a new administration. It's going to be implementing new policies on cyber, just like every new administration has in the cyber age. Do your products and services have the flexibility to adjust to whatever might change in terms of requirements for cybersecurity?
Absolutely, absolutely. Part of being a cloud-based service is that you have the nimbleness, you have the agility to adjust based on the changing requirements of the government, based on changing technology. And so, yeah, absolutely. That's always going to be part of what we're going to be able to bring to the table is agility to change with the environment.
Jason, I want to thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts, some very insightful points that you've raised. Thanks again for coming. This has been a Signal Executive video. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.